as the American admits to only knowing one language. I'm sure everyone in the world is shocked. Big versus ENCE. It all comes down to this third map in this series. Loser of this one, and all of a sudden, I mean, that's the crazy thing, is at this point in the series, in the best of three, each team has won their map selection. This just turns into a best of one, and I imagine that's probably an element of what Gabi said. He just says, guys, this isn't a series anymore. This is just one map, so forget about everything. Doesn't matter that they came back, because you can wipe that out of your memory.
Yeah, that is a really good point. It is effectively down to a best of one. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter how you got to this point. It only matters what you do from here on out. So for Big, on the T side, if there's any nerves on the Finns, which they didn't really seem like there were towards the end of train, but if there are, the best way is to do what exactly you've done the previous two maps, and that's break their economy down, get it into easy positions with a lack of utility, exploit that to its fullest. Big are getting a lot of the map under control, though. ENCE playing very deep passively with a couple of flashbangs and a kit. Trying to use the range of the USP to its maximum threat level. And right now, Big aren't even making a move. They're starting to make tabs and play interference over on the B side, trying to draw out some of this rotation out from A towards B, but it's not really working. ENCE are going to buckle down. They've got three players here already. Sergey with the USP is able to tee off alongside Alu, who will claim the first kill. It's looking great for ENCE right now. The bomb still hasn't been planted. Next is going to find the head of Sergey. That's the only casualty for the Finns. They're going to have to take this up close and personal. All of that utility has now been expended. Flashbang, so solid. Next is going to go down. Taps in close range, going to feel the force of X7, who gets a 3K, and ENCE win their first pistol round.
Yeah, finally. It's taken so long, and maybe a little bit of smiles cracking out there. Is at least mission accomplished. The first mission is accomplished. Nicely done from ENCE. A very passive round overall from them, and you can see Alu fighting a retreating battle while his teammates come in so deep, using the range of that USP. Even when Next gets the kill, there's not a whole lot for him to do. You can't really build upon that because the rest of ENCE is there with a flashbang to just bum rush the last two players. No buy from Big in this second round. They're going to wait to get the rifles out in the next.
Yeah, just $900 invested between three players of those P250s. That's it. And in come the SMGs. No armor, very vulnerable. How in the actual hell have Big got 2 kills from this? I'm not too sure, but they should be put to rest. Copy's going to get a third. That's actually painful for ENCE, having to replenish those guns, albeit quite a lot of SMGs, but still.
Yeah, it is painful. Listen, the MP5 is not what it used to be. It's not ideal. Sergey having a tough time really handling that weapon, but bonus money could help. But as you said, 3 kills, you can't really recover from that in just one round. We'll have to see what they do when they get the rifles in the hands, but a chance for Big to respond early on and actually cause a reset. Alu with an AWP with no utility. Aerial, the M4A1, a rare sighting. And even Alexei, because of the loss of his weapon in the last round, has to go to the UMP. It's 5 rifles. There's a good opening pick, or a good opening trade, I should say, as Gabi does respond as well. And you have to imagine that ENCE is going to want to pick up that AWP. With the smoke down in Monster, X7 going to reach forward and snatch it off the ground. Meanwhile, Ariel and Alexei, they've taken control of short sewers. This could be a huge play. If they get the flank on, I don't know if you can send both, but certainly once they see that everything's clear, you're going to want to start speeding things up on the flank.
Yeah, Sergey is just desperate for information at this stage, so he can give that early call and get X7 across, who is moving anyway. Here come the nades. Telegraphing the push. Sergey smoked out. Both sides. Off to choke on, can't really do anything, and his tag team partner on aim has been found out. X7 is down, Sergey can hear the bomb being planted, switches across the Tapson, nearly lands himself a second. Now an exquisite play with the AUG.
Look at Ariel, he's all the way out towards long. This is so risky. He's actually taking the longest flank possible. Not only that, but he had to run part of the way. They only have the one kit on Alexi. He cannot go down here. Aerial is just about to be put into play. The backstop on Tizian would be huge. There he is, a free kill. They're looking for one more smoke on the bomb. This might have just worked out perfect. It's just next. He was one of the stars on train. Here's the peak. Aerial's got that as well. It finally comes to fruition, and they can save the AWP as well. But that was a tough fight to get back into the bomb site.
This is the first time that we've seen ENCE with a start this solid. Sure, some weapons were lost, but a 3-0 start is fantastic. Excellent work by Aerial, as you say. 4 kills to his name. Alu with 5.
The craziest thing about that flank is if it doesn't work, then the conversation shifts, right? It's like, oh, he took the longest route possible. Oh, he took way too long on the flank. He never sped up. That's riding a fine line for Aerial, but he's got himself 4 kills, and he's got his team up 3-0. Still another investment with that plant. The extra $800 is going to help out, and the fact that they got 3 kills. Still the money low for the Finnish defense.
It is, and Big will definitely be able to sense that. So much firepower when they get up close and personal with it. Bit of a lull in the action as Big decide to just slow things down. See if ENCE are going to try and take control over Short or Monster again. But it is a kind of one-and-done tactic, ultimately. Maybe further down the line they'll try and implement it again. Next getting tagged up through the wall. There's a beautiful grenade as well, chips him down to 6. And with only a smoke and a flash between Big, this is going to be a hard ask to get onto the site now.
Yeah, the early stage of this round has not been kind to Big. Haven't found any of the advantages they were looking for. And as you mentioned, just no utility to really work with. You're going to rely on your stars. Taps and Xanteras with the most HP to find you a pick. And there's a near missed opportunity. Great shot from Alu. Also going to keep Sergey safe at long. He's not going to push forward and go for a flank in bathrooms, and these smokes might actually help Alu. It can actually give him some cover to get away. Sergey's going to stay aggressive, finds Taps in the offerings out. One more time. Alu's got 2, now blind, but it's okay. It was a team flash. He's not in danger, and he's going to fall back in Big. And nothing has worked. This round has lost. Gabi and Nex going to save these weapons, but, I mean, you're not going to get bonus money. So it's not like you can buy up utility behind this and have another decent fight moving forward. I imagine we'll see a timeout from Gabi after this, because you'll be able... The one thing that could allow you to do is if they want to go up for a half buy, as this losing bonus has built up, they can have the other 3 players get deagles, light armor, and maybe specific utility for some kind of specific strategy that Gabi wants to run, and that's probably what the timeout is going to be talked about.
That smoke on the short side, though, could not have worked out better for Alu. It gave him Sanctuary, it just gave him this free reign to smack plays with the AWP.
It gave him the comfort to where if he holds that angle, even if he misses a shot and they swing wide, it's not necessarily easy to punish him. There's still that smoke up in their face to maybe give him an extra half second or maybe give him, you know, a missed bullet.
Gave him a safety net.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Some Kevlar are going to be picked up, but it does seem like they're keeping their options open for the next round. Not fully investing behind it.
You don't put all your eggs in this one basket. But smoke, 2 flashes, P250 Deagle, and the Tech 9 making a comeback. Maybe.
It's kind of in a weird place the Tech 9 sees it at the moment.
I feel like we've seen like a couple players recently like try and pick it up and bring it forward and try and make it work. I'm not sold on it.
I've got to say, personally, I much prefer the 5.7 to the CZ on the CT side. But I'm just one of those weird people, I guess.
No, I mean, I'm not very good at the game anymore. But I haven't been able to use the CZ either, so I feel like I'm the one person in the world who can't use the CZ. Alu jumping for information. Now peering towards bathrooms. Nex and Xanteras walking up. One of the AKs in the hands of Nex. Maybe a flashbang so we can take this peek. Oh, look at this contact play. They're not aware. Oh, now he is. Ooh. All alone. Sergey's pushed out towards long. Alexi's got to be so careful. And I'm amazed he didn't get punished. Didn't even realize that Gabi could be at that angle. Sergey's going to call out bank, but he's given up his position as well.
Good damage to Tabson. It's a hell of a shot from Gabi on the approach, affording them the bomb plant.
Do they not realize Sergey's here?
They must have heard him shooting the AK, surely. Now they definitely do. Next close range from Bank, doesn't expect a double stack. Next 7 can thank his lucky stars, but up close Next gets him. Is this really happening? Sergey spins around on a swivel. Needs to turret his way in. He's got a smoke. I'm not sure if he realizes this is now. He does. He's going to try and draw out Next into the open, and Sergey, for such a young man, is so calm.
Calm and clutch. He delivers another one here. We saw it on Train as well down the stretch during that comeback from ENCE. Great shot from Gabi to punish Alu. He didn't have a rifle close up, and that is a very unique way of taking that A-bomb site. Alu probably never imagined a world in which they would be walking silently going for a contact play that close to the A site. It's 5-0, but you have to say, Big, they're going to be very pleased with how that round turned out. A plant, they got 4 kills out of it. They take a lot of cash flow away from ENCE. Aerial X7, down at $300 left in the bank.
Alu's gone for a swing and a miss, and takes a bit of damage for his troubles, but some nades gonna fire back in and ping Xantara's on the head, double stack. He's only a bullet away from death now, and Aerial will finish off the rest. That's excellent work by ENCE. What a pick. What a player to take down as well. All of that work they did in the previous round could be negated if this goes horribly wrong. The first 2 picks going to go the way comfortably on the CT side. Tizian going to try and make amends as he pushes up. I think Sergey may have just seen the shadow around the corner. He's still peering across into bathroom. Now definitely saw Tizian. The Molotov forces Sergey out into position. Well played by Tizian, but they're still up against it.
What a tough situation for Sergey to know what to do. He had plenty of utility, but he didn't want to. He wanted to play gun out in case the aggressive peek came in. Not a whole lot of ways for him to feel comfortable in that fight. 3 on 4 for Big as they close up to this A-bomb site. You imagine Gabi's going to stay here just backing up to throw his smoke. Here's the op from Alu. That's a very tough shot to hit, looking for the head and looking for it with a very short time frame. And actually, they almost pause in the gap for him, and that smoke. The smokes of Big give him confidence to move up. Alexi's been waiting the whole time for this moment. 2 kills in Gabi in no time. He's going to fall at the end, and it's 6-0 for ENCE.
Great crossfire established again. The AUG rings out from the side of Long. Alu, 176 ADR. Anything about Dust 2 now completely put to the back of his mind.
Oh yeah, this is some great shots from him. Good round. I mean, even for ENCE overall, like Big, they're going to be looking at this series. If they end up going down and losing this, they're just going to say, man, we had ENCE playing nervous, making mistakes, and we let them off the hook.
Yep. Well, they absolutely did. Again, this match should already be concluded. If Big had have held on, played as we know they could have, but ENCE can take nothing away from them. The resilience shown. Now Big into another tactical timeout.
But it's important to note as well, this is the ENCE most of us have been expecting to show up in this Legend stage. The one we've seen here for at least these first 6 rounds of Overpass, the one that we saw down the stretch of Train, a clutch team, a team that's able to really plant their feet and grind back into these games. Been a much better look for them. Alu, another aggressive peek towards Fountain, doesn't spot much. Not a whole lot of information to rely upon. 3 players to defend this B-bomb site. Aerial, X7, even Alexi, and I think even Alu's rotating back pretty fast. Even Sergey's playing deep in towards Bank. They want the quick rotate. This hit from Big is going to be real tough to make work. Oh dear.
Flash into Monster in the end, but it's not going to bother Aerial. There are smokes in his eyes, though. He can't really help his teammates out. These entries are on point, but now Aerial with his M4A1S. Going to put it to use, spins around, nearly gets the kill on Next, but very much can be said the opposite side. Next going to finish him off with the Tech 9 finally.
If he had an AUG or an M4A4, 10 more bullets would have been nice. Alu had graffitis, and Tears is so low, 7 HP. That nade on Alu. You imagine he's going to try and put it in there. He sees the trajectory of these flashbangs. Not using his nade. There's the AUG, but Nex has the angle, and now that shot doesn't land for Alu. Now Xantares does fall, but everyone's waiting for the follow-up peek from Alu, and Big is finally on the board. A great strategy, and you could see that initial defense, X7 was so confused. Big threw out their smokes, their flashbangs over, and they actually run through their smokes to the left instead of actually attacking the bomb site. Excuse me, it was Aerial looking confused, and obviously a late push through the monster tunnel with that Tech 9.
It is the double tap though as well. ENCE now are broke. They have to force, and it's going to be MP9, couple UMPs, a CZ for Alexi B.
But the op's still in Alu's hands.
And he has been having an excellent map so far. Missing quite a lot of shots, but also landing key ones, and of course, as I say that, is tabseN laid in wait with his AWP. Sergey get a trade. I think they may have seen that get picked up. Yeah, Tizian's still close.
New angle for Sergey. You can tell he wants to stay aggressive as long as possible, or at least aggressive enough to find the kill that evens things out. He's fallen back towards A. He has no teammates here because of this boost that's going on at the bottom of the stairs. And this is, I mean, Tizian at any one point could be in trouble if he goes back down. Sergey still hasn't peeked towards long. He doesn't have enough teammates here to have eyes on all the different choke points, so it's hard for him to choose where he wants to be. X7 is rotating back. That UMP is not going to be a great tool to defend long. Talked about minimizing mistakes in the last round. Look at Big. They just hit the pause button. They say, you know what? We have the man advantage. You're the one who's going to have to make a move if you want to try and come back into this round. Here comes utility. It's all on Sergey with this AWP.
Still plenty of utility though on this finish side as well. And Sergey misses out on his chance. Here's the UMP. Oh, and X7 also whiffs his chance. Putting more pressure on Aerial and Alexi B. Really expected that avenging kill to come to fruition. That grenade should finish Xantares off though. Hits him in the back of the head. AK-47 traded out, but tabseN is there with his AWP. Here comes Aerial. I don't think he's going to expect two players stacked in the same position. He's a dead man. Nex able to get the drop on him, and Big have put 2 rounds together and have broken ENCE.
Gabi took a big risk there. He made the same play that tabseN made on Train that caused him to lose that retake. Gabi was flanking all the way around to the B bomb site to wrap around. But if Aerial had been able to find those kills quick enough, there's no way Gabi was going to be able to get involved in the action or stop the defuse. So Big does come out on top. It's 2-6. Alu went down. Sergey couldn't get anything done with the AWP, and ENCE is going to have to sit around with just pistols. Should be able to bind the Nex if they don't invest too much here.
If Aerial doesn't pick up too much, he could actually drop an AWP across to Alu. He's on 3.2k. Does mean this would pretty much be a complete bust of a round. That's still been a good start though for ENCE.
The other option for ENCE is to go for 2 half buys. See if you can make something work. Because next round, I don't think they'll do that, but next round they'll be kind of like right on the edge. They'll be sitting like right on 4,500. That's enough for obviously armor and rifles. You're going to be missing some kits, some utility on a couple players. But I think they'll still want to fight for it. Close up to the mid staircase. Listen for your opponent's little booties. Pop, flash, peek, and there's no one here.
Could all try and wrap around connector side, see if they can get behind Big, but this is why Tizian is at the back. He's going to be smoking over. Actually, he's going to be moving with the rest of his team. This could get a bit awkward if they get stuck in Monster and this P250 starts rattling off. It could be frags ahoy, but instead it's going to be X7 claims the first kill. tabseN. Now just going to be a duck hunt, staring right across to the entirety of ENCE. ENCE picked up 3 kills with just a P250 though. And that really is not a bad round.
No, you can't complain with that one at all. Not too shabby. Those kills actually help bolster some of the money that they were going to be working with, which is quite nice. Here we go, all got on X7. Yeah, those kills actually kind of really hinder what Big is going to be able to save up behind this buy. 6-3 in the favor of ENCE still. If you're just joining us, this is the 3rd and deciding map between these two teams. The loser of this series is eliminated from IEM Katowice and will have to play through the minor system at the next major, which is hosted by Starladder in Berlin. This almost looks like a little bit of a checkmate play from Big. They've gone for the B rush, and it's mid presence from ENCE, but that's a nice crossfire. Once again, Aerial from Catwalk, or I guess the equivalent of Catwalk, Sandbags, is doing phenomenal work.
It's such a staggered attack, though. Just one by one.
That's so awkward. Used why Alexi is there so quickly.
Just runs straight through mid. God be flash, can't do anything. This is looking fantastic now for ENCE. Tizian having to watch all his teammates crash around him.
I feel like God B just like stared at that flashbang and didn't even react to it. Like, I feel like that flashbang just hung in the air and he was just like, all right, you've got me.
I'm eating that one.
He literally watched it for like 2 seconds without turning.
Tizian still has a chunk of time to play with. Can maybe try and take some guns away, but in doing so, he walks into Alexi B, who stacks up for a third kill in a round. And that brief resurgence from Big has been put to an end. And this is really where the previous round, losing 3 players, catches up with Big.
Yeah. I mean, imagine being flanked at Monster Tunnel at 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the round. You'd be so pissed.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a gamble, isn't it, from ENCE? Because if they actually just hold back and play passive, Alexi B is effectively just a free kill.
With an SMG as well.
Yep.
Alu again going to peer over the fountain towards that main choke point. Nothing coming early on. And seeing no presence, gets a little bit nervous about underpass and stairs. The door is open, and there's a shot from Alu. He's going to punish next. He's going to go back for more. He's got a second on Guntars. This is just duck hunt for Alu.
He's afforded that opportunity because Sergey was watching from bathroom, so he knew he couldn't get wrapped. And now that Sergey's pulled back, he has to play more passively. I believe Alexi B is watching long, just to make sure that all of the angles are covered. Indeed, he is. So this is pretty standard stuff on the CT side, especially in an anti-eco, well, anti-half-buy, I guess I should say. Still a Molotov and flashbang could cause some problems, could be a nuisance from the side of Big. Tizian lands at 1 dig. Blistering pace on that headshot. But the rest is comfortable. Alu with 4.
Yeah, I mean, he had a quiet Dust 2, as you mentioned. Train, we didn't say his name too often. He wasn't bad. This is where you'd expect Alu, the veteran, the leader of this Finnish scene, to step it up, to show him how to get it done when the big matches come around. He's 17-7. Aerial is the next closest at 11-5, but Alu having a solid performance here, and if that continues for the rest of this half for the last 4 rounds, Big could be in some trouble. He hasn't had a whole lot of success with this aggressive play, but he's getting a lot of information. He knows exactly what's coming. No one towards the A bomb site. Great nade. Eating damage. Aerial here once again. Gets that first kill. No ability to trade for Big, and there's Alexi from behind as well. Molotov gonna force them forward. God B is so low. They're being whittled down, but finally Big has taken this site.
Oh, he's had enough time to rotate from the aggressive play on mid back onto Heaven. Molly gonna bounce into the smoke, not able to stop Xantares. This grenade may have damage written all over it, lands in the face of Xantares, leaving Nex in a 1-on-2. I think he just turned his back at the worst possible moment, but actually not going to be affected by the flashbang. And Sergey, who's already got 2 or 3 clutches to his name in big, important rounds, is going to have to go one better. He does have plenty of utility and a kit. Molly off 1. Tap the bomb. It's not in a great position for Monster either. He's actually going to hold on to this one. Meanwhile, Nex is going to come around the corner. This is going to get defused. And also gets the kill. How is that possible, Nex?
I wonder if Nex was confused by hearing the bomb tap 3 times. Sergey has come up clutch, and I think realizing, I'm not sure if Nex even noticed, he wasn't the one that planted the bomb of where it was. That piece of communication probably came out very, very late in when Nex decided how to play that. Tough to assign blame in a situation like that, but obviously that one hurts in a big way. And if you go all the way back towards Train, this has been Heartbreak City. Big, no one is probably feeling very positive over there, and you're right, Sergey has been so clutch for ENCE. Just had another one onto the tally, and the Finns with a commanding lead here on Overpass.
Typically, it's the wiry veterans that have been around for years that are great clutches. The fact that he's this good and so young with so much ahead of him, that is a tantalizing prospect if you are Finnish. To have a player of this capability in your scene. In the meanwhile, Big, maybe playing a bit more aggro with these pistols. Again, look how forward ENCE are. Sergey already from playground. They've got Alu just behind him. There's going to be more pressure though on the B side. So far, so good for Big. They've got a 2-for-2 trade. Definitely worthwhile. They can trade across some of these guns, but Next goes a bit too far out in the open. Wants to find information. He gathers it, but it's at the cost of his life.
They have to do something. They have to do something to get information or to try and find a kill. Now they know there's 2 players coming from sandbags. Here's one through Monster. Big win for Xantares. Still alive as well. Low HP. Gabi gives up his position. Wild spray from Sergey. And it's all on Alu. The veteran. You just said he must be clutch and he can't. It's Gabi securing another round. And they have found a weakness at that B bomb site. And Big has gone back to it, and finally it works.
Yeah, that round was just purely off a timing event, stacking 3 players up aggressively in playground and balloons. So Aerial and X7 having to effectively play a 2v5. There's just too many bodies coming up against them.
Well, they're playing the wrong spots if you only have 2 players there. I mean, you had both of those players concentrating on sandbags, so either it's the wrong spots or there's some kind of a miscommunication or mistheory on how they want to play that on defense, but both players focusing on sandbags, and everyone knows there's a massive amount of bodies that come through Monster. You cannot just ignore that part. It's a critical part, obviously, of the B bomb site. Alu's been so good with the AWP, it almost is a shame that we're seeing him back onto the shotgun. But that's the state of ENCE's economy.
Interestingly, Alexa B has one. Elsewhere on the map, the XM is able to connect, but not frag. Taps it. 2 players have been dropped pretty low, though. Only a flashbang to play with for ENCE with over a minute on the clock.
I think Aerial heard some of those footsteps from Xantares as he's falling back. Look at the defense of the B bomb site for ENCE. It's completely evacuated. It's a risk because they know that Big has control of the short sewers. Or not short sewers, excuse me, the staircase. Aerial's going to start really flank. Remember, he was the one who took that long flank at long A. Oh no, do not make that footstep. He's about to have a massive backstab. 3 players here, 3 of his teammates to defend.
There should be shooting fish in a barrel, and it's going to be a Sergey also chipping in with a kill. This is such a good hold for ENCE. On such a poor buy as well. Big had a chance 6 rounds, but instead Gabi's going to be plucked out finally. And ENCE pick up a 10-4 lead. What a rotation again by Aerial.
All the criticisms of ENCE that we saw in their first 2 best of ones, and even maybe the first 2 maps of this series, timid play, tentative, hesitation, scared to take some fights, it's all disappeared on this 3rd map. It all disappeared at the end of Train, and here they're actually being the aggressors. They're actually dictating how they're playing this map, and they're making the right calls. They're being proactive on this CT side. A couple mistakes coming out here and there, but a 10-4 lead. You'll take that any day of the week on the deciding map of a series at the Major. Sergey gonna fall back as well, toss out a nade, doesn't do a whole lot. It's Big who have the weaker buy now.
It really does seem as these rounds have progressed, ENCE have just grown in stature, they've grown in confidence. Adversely, the complete opposite can be said for Big. Become more timid. Gone in their shell a little bit more. Those Antares peaks that we saw on Train, I haven't seen them at all on Overpass. 8 and 14 with 66 ADR. You expect better of this guy. He is such a phenomenal player. Just hasn't really been given the opportunity to. There's plenty of nades though on the side of Big. 3 smokes, 2 Molotovs, more than enough to execute on B. As a result, the 2 players dipping down to pistols. And that looks to be the side of choice. 4 posturing outside, and meanwhile Tizian's going to try and play interference in bathroom. X7 bolstering up the smoke in Monster, stalling more time. When do Big decide to push the button and push in here on the site? It has to come soon.
Alu just burned down to 4 HP. I don't know if he was blind or caught sleeping at his keyboard. Here's that 2-man defense. Ooh, Tizian, that's overkill. This defense couldn't hold the B-bomb site last time. Here we go again. Aerial off angle at the pillars, and Tears is going to go down. It's the M4A1. It's running out of bullets. Alexi just gets there in time, and they've made it work here. Next, 18 HP and a Tech 9, 7 seconds of the clock. Even if they get the kills, you don't have time to get the plant. ENCE, a commanding lead, and that is a different look to the Finnish squad that we have not seen yet. 11-4 going into the second half, and Big, their backs against the wall, facing elimination now on overpass. We'll see if they can avoid it, or if we're going to be waving goodbye to them after the break. Five rounds is all that stands between Big and elimination from this event. This has been a whole new look to ENCE that we didn't see in this series, in this Legend stage, or even in the Challenger stage where they went 3-0. They have looked solid here, and they have responded well to everything Big has thrown at them. But now, they switch to the offensive side of overpass.
How the tables have turned from Train. We're very much the opposite end of the spectrum we were in. It was looking like ENCE were on their way out. CS can be quite a cruel game at times. Zantara is going to take the opening pick, but not really going to find too much, apart from a little bit of damage. But this information needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, because the bomb and a couple of players are over towards the B side of the map with Alexi B currently chilling in connector. So if Big over-rotate, this will play into the hands of ENCE.
Well, I think the entire point of Alu and Sergey is not only to just have a presence at A, but they want to clear out close to the bathrooms. They want to make sure that there's no one pushed up there that's going to gain information, that's going to be able to have a fast flank down the stairs. And Tears was there earlier. Presence out towards Long. Pulled him back, but now he's going to have a very fast flank. He is on the hunt, and actually now Gabi and Tapson can rotate over. Xantares have done so much. ENCE have to hit this right now. It's a very small window of opportunity, and it's closing fast.
Tizian is closing it off by himself. Going to go down finally, but he's taken two players with him. Tapson now going to step up. Xantares, how has he whiffed that chance? That was the round in the palm of his hand. It may still go the way of Big. The bomb's still yet to be planted, although X7 has it under his control. And a smoke. Alu's been found. X7 is bounced back instantly onto God B. Still thinks there may be a player in heaven. He's just going to go for the full-out plant. This gives ENCE options, regardless of what the outcome of this round is. Maybe X7 can still block it out. Going to smoke to the side, and there is Nex. Both CTs breathing down his neck, and Big will strike for another pistol round.
That's so good from Big to get that information over towards the A-bomb site. Never, I mean, you can tell. I think Big realizes that Xanteres just loves finding fights, loves finding opponents to duel up against, because he was just so mobile, always up front. When he was forced back from bathrooms back to the A-bomb site, he didn't sit there on his haunches and just wait. They sent him out long with a flashbang to clear that out, and they got a real big cheat on the rotate. Obviously, Tizen 2 opening kills is massive. But able to cheat 4 players there, even secured the fact that the plant was just so hard to get down. I was actually surprised that Alu peeked Graffiti before that bomb got planted. It seemed like he had a solid position. If X7 was able to smoke off the site, get the bomb planted, and play the 2-on-3. Regardless, with that plant, 2 AKs being bought, 1 Galil, 1 MAC-10, and a Scout. The only thing they're really lacking is nades. Alexi has all of them. They're just going to look for heads-up fights with these AK-47s.
Very powerful second round buy, considering they conceded the first. 3 assault rifles, no small task ahead of Big. Thompson up on the flower bed. May see him with the AWP here later on in this half. The organ hand does a lot of damage to Alu. That is significant. That's going to stop him pushing. So the early trade in favor of Big. But at least ENCE still have all 5 players standing.
Yeah, it's one thing to be happy about. At this point, you might even just pass the Scout over to him, although Sergey doesn't have armor. One fortunate thing as well for ENCE is that there's not a lot of nades on Big in this round. So despite the fact that they're using some, quickly Big is going to run out of that advantage as well. It's just Tizian with the smoke that he just used now. That'll take them to about 20 seconds before that fades. That's over towards the B bomb site. They're not even there. Deep smoke towards A. Xantere's going to get the pop flash, going to come through, and that's a bit crazy. He somehow gets a kill. But now they've swapped out. Rotation is going to start coming in from Tizian and Gabi, but they're going to be on the flank. Now this really needs to speed up for ENCE. They're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, connector play is actually getting into play. How does X7 spun around with that frag? It may not end up mattering. A smattering of big kills riddles ENCE with bullets. And they will move the deficit to 5 rounds, but more importantly than that in their mind, they're now getting a bit of a stranglehold over the economy.
Again, just using Xanteres as like information gathering. If he wants to be aggressive, send him forward, don't say no. You at least find out what's happening, and that was kind of the impetus for the 2 players at the B bomb site to flank up the stairs. Over to the B bomb site we go for ENCE. No armor, no rifles. P250s and a couple flashbangs. X7 waiting to throw those. Ooh, this is going to be deadly. Another Molotov. They're going to be held back. Thought that might have been an HE grenade. That would have done massive amounts of damage.
A flash. They're using a lot of grenades, but they're not rotating anybody. Gobby has just seen 4 players pushing. Next going to be in the thick of the action. How many kills can he take with him? There's 3 and a 4th. Beautiful spray control. A clean sweep round for Big.
Starting to grind back into this. 11-4 seems so long ago. ENCE has only won 1 pistol round in the 3-map series. 5 going the favor of Big.
It's pretty depressing, isn't it?
Only for finish.
Still ahead, of course, in the 3rd map. Goes to show that ENCE really, when it comes to rifle rounds, has been pretty prolific.
Yeah, they've been solid, especially, I mean, I don't know how Alexi didn't take any damage from that Molotov, but he'll take it. He's a firewalker.
I was thinking they'd done a deal with the devil to get past train, and I guess that proves it.
Yeah, sold their soul. Oh, nice job from Xanteres, but he's alone. He does have his teammate close in the bathrooms. Tapson is smoked off, though. Now he's getting injured. That might prompt Xanteres to get aggressive. Actually, X7 and Aerial find kills right at the same time. Aerial watching their back. Can't find that frag. Does know... Oh my god, Xanteres. I thought he was going to adjust and find that headshot, but somehow he's still alive. Gabi has fallen at the A site. But this round is so scattered. No one can take advantage of the openings they found until just now. That kill is going to alleviate the pressure.
It may not be the finest Counter-Strike, but it is entertaining. Just fights all over the place, skirmishes erupting across the map, leaving Nex in a 1-on-3. He's been phenomenal, 23 and 12, 110 ADR. This could be too much to ask, and indeed it is. ENCE regain a 5-round lead.
He was good on train as well. I think he ended that with kills in the mid-20s. Shout out to Nex coming back to play after decent amount of time away from the team.
I mean, he's more than double anyone else's frags on the team right now. Nearest is Antares on 11.
That hard carry. So, surgery went well, I would assume.
Have you put something bionic into him? Our cyborg now.
No, that's it, Nex. Oh, Tapson wants to take a bit of a fight in the flames. Not too much damage. Not punished a whole lot. Now he's going to hold this angle. Aerial with another Molotov to force him away. He really wants this fight. Stepping in front of the smoke, misses his chance. That's a lot of utility that Big doesn't really have used just to find that one opportunity. Nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I can credit him taking the initiative to try and get Big ahead in this round, but as you say, that is a smoke that they could certainly use further down the line. Fortunately, they do still have 4 in play, but it's really the lack of kit, the lack of Molotovs that can start to be a bit more of an issue.
The lack of money, Vince, is the real hard part. Big cannot afford to get reset here. If they get reset when ENCE puts themselves onto 13, they'll just be so close to the edge for the rest of this half. 3 players to defend A. They have that boost at the half, or at that mid wall there, right there. Xanteres and Tapson moving up behind the smoke in bathrooms. Sergey, Alexei, and Aerial. They're going to start getting aggressive in the mid round. They're going to catch him off guard, but they're stuck now. Can they get away is the question. Xanteres must stand his ground. He gets nothing done. Caught in the aggression, and it's Gabi standing at the default plant boxes, trying to hold the line. His teammates are not there yet. They're not even close. He is going to fall, and disaster is about to strike for Big.
No grenades to come back on the site with no kits. There's no nades for ENCE either, but they have the player advantage, and they can now establish crossfires. Oh, this is going to be such a rough ask for Big. I think they're just, they're tapping out already. They know there's no chance. They need to hold on to these orgs.
It's the lack of kits. I think even without the nades, if they had had at least one kit, they might have gone for that, because it is such a precarious situation to be in. You know you're being reset. You're still going to be at a massive disadvantage in the next round. But fair play to ENCE. They found a way in. 13-7 now. Where it looked so tough for them on train for so much of the stretch, they looked outclassed on Dust 2. They were a miraculous round away from losing on train as well, and now we're here. A 6-round lead, full control of the economy, and finally looking like the team that people expected them to be.
You can really see that on ENCE, they're sharing the wealth of damage too. 4 players on 80 plus ADR. Only Nex is even close, he's on 100. Apart from him, it's been very flat for Big. And he's not necessarily the player you'd think of when you thought of carrying coming into this. That is a worrying sign, and Big discussed already how close they are to already being eliminated. Very little money at their disposal, even with such a poor buy.
And they're taking a big risk with Tapson. He only has a P250, but they want him to have the AWP. They just say the next time we buy, we need you to have the AWP to make this comeback happen, so don't invest in the armor, just use the P250. Sergey has a big job to do, and the young star's gonna go down to Tapson. Just what I said, no armor, nothing at all, and he's picked off. That's incredible. Tough spot to react to. Nex has a kill. Somehow Big fighting back into this round. They've got 3 rifles, they've got an SMG, and they have 4 players to defend this site. ENCE in a lot of trouble again. They have to find A way to dig deep here one more time.
Got Beast tank 2 grenades already, and now from the barrels he may be able to stall. At the very least, he's going to keep ENCE looking at their right-hand side, and that could allow the rest of the CT stacked on the side to deliver. There's a Molotov to draw him out, and now the kill's starting to go the way of the terrorists. That's 3 in a row. Big should have had this round wrapped up in the knee. But it still will be. Tizia's triple spray keeps the dream alive.
ENCE was so patient looking for the mistake from Big, and it finally happened. They all kind of started peeking on the death of Gabi, their leader. As soon as he falls, all discipline is lost. That stack towards sandbags, though, it's all ENCE could do to get back into this round, and it's fair play. They did everything possible. Just all 5 players able to rotate into position, and now Big's been extended the lifeline.
Flashbacks to train.
This is Vince, sorry to cut you off. This is such an important round right here in this game. Both teams out of money after this bye.
If Big win this, they're right back into it. If they concede, that could be it. Zantara isn't absent. Through mid, get the kills. The bomb's been dropped. It's ENCE's turn to sweat this out.
And they don't have the utility to come back into this round. Who's going to be the aggressor? And that's part of the issue. That's going to be a lot of relatively easy fights for tabseN, or relatively comfortable fights, I should say. Maybe not easy. There's a good one for Xantares, just holding the line with the AUG. 3 kills for him in the round, and Alu with the AWP hasn't even been able to get involved in the action, has he? A fast-paced round where Alu, I don't even know if he took a shot.
No, he's still got 10 bullets in the magazine, 30 in reserve. Hasn't fired a single AUG shot off. And Big, oh dear. Big not only looking to take this round, but if they don't lose a single play, it's going to do the world of good to their funds.
Oh yeah, that is everything that Big was praying for. They had fingers crossed, and it has been delivered. Plenty of cash now built up behind the weapons. 9-13 from the perspective of the German side. They'll get to play a relatively easy round, be able to build up that cash a little bit more, but they're still going to be facing a 3-round deficit. More than likely, I should say. Not guaranteed. But I can't imagine ENCE investing a whole lot into this round, if anything.
No.
They just don't have the money. Sitting between 2,000 and 2,500, you invest here with just pistols and armor and utility, and that would be a poor choice.
Yeah, I mean, that gets Big right back into this game. They could draw it up from that point. That would be a horrible decision. Alexi B has enough to maybe get a P250 or a flashbang, but everyone else really needs to hold off a purchase. They may not even go in for that, and that's perfectly fine. Full-on Glocks.
Yeah,
I respect this decision.
This is great. Just fully concede the round. You could even talk things over if you really wanted, but not spending any cash.
We saw in a round previously with Glocks, they got 2 or 3 kills. We'll have to see if they can do that again. That was off the back of a lot of aggression from Big, though. This time Big playing far, far more passively. I think they've got a good read of the economy situation. I mean, expect Gabi to be on top of that sort of stuff. The connector, going to see a bit of confrontation. Tizia's been chipped down to 90. Yeah, I mean, this is a gimme round. If Big lose more than one player, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, something's gone horribly wrong. They might have to, like, actually shoot themselves to do that. And as we say it, Xantares on the verge of going down. He does get 2, trying to bait out a shot from the AWP, and ooh, there, finally it is. And actually, there's going to be a chance for 2 players to go down. Vince, you might be eating another boot. tabseN waiting in the bomb site. Oh, okay. Nice! That is cruel and unusual. Alu just wants 1.
Does have an AUG.
Yeah. So does Nex. Nex has been so phenomenal, which is crazy to see. Remember, Nex as a player has caught some flack throughout his career, really struggled to have the same impact at major tournaments as he did in smaller ones and in online leagues early on when he was in Mouse Sports with Gabi. And then coming into this big team, his addition for that exact reason was questioned, but he's delivered, you know, especially in this most recent. He was great at ESL1 Cologne last year. He has been one of the prime factors of this team having success during his tenure.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, if Big come back to win this best of 3, a lot of the plaudits have to go for next. And speaking of the man, he's delivered again. This time it's a Molotov kill. Sergey burns to a crisp.
It's crazy seeing ENCE after just saving that round, being so aggressive that they're losing a player in the first 20, 30 seconds. Not even really getting a chance to execute any kind of strategy. Great pick from Alexi. I didn't even see how that happened. Alexi is in the show. I think Xantar's had to have jumped. The follow-up boost got B. He's lucky to get away. You're not going to fool Alexi like that. Nade damage is pretty well done. 3 defenders still here at this B bomb site. And ENCE is going to back away up the staircase, but the nades is what's making me question this. They don't really have a lot to work with. They're trying to throw a fake. They're snaking over towards A, and they've pulled the entire defense to this bomb site. Got B just now rotating back. ENCE don't realize how free that bomb site is, or they'd be moving faster. Actually, fair play. Alexi's moving as fast as he possibly can. Got B has arrived, though. A second teammate coming. This is going to be a fight for ENCE.
And there's no grenades on either team. There's going to be a straight-up raw brawl on A side. Got B, peeks for the AWP, but he's going to be the first to fall in this encounter. Next snaking in the side, is able to get one. Doesn't stop the bomb from being planted though. But he's up close and personal. Aerial perforates his skull. And with that death, it could be the end of this round for Big. Thompson, last man standing, last man knocked down. ENCE 14-10.
What a great call to readjust that hit after they got the equalizing kill from Alexi, and they pressure it so much with nades. I'm not sure how they realized that bomb site was free, but the call to go towards A was so massive. There's the opening pick, but that run from Alexi up long all the way into the site was like caution to the wind, supremely confident no one was going to be there.
A huge roll of the dice, and it has delivered. A 4-round lead. Big. Not only are they on the brink... Oh, this boost is pretty sick.
Here comes the train.
Oh no, it actually wrecked Alu as well. He could have had that frag.
One more. Come on, give us one more jump. Give him a chance.
I mean, considering that he did die in the previous round by jumping up from Alexi, I think it was.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Using some nades. Oh, what? How did Tizian die? Oh, the follow-up pick. It finally works. They were so patient with that. How did the Molotov get that kill?
Was it 100-0?
Yeah, well, he just never moved out of it. I don't know. Maybe he threw a smoke on it and it didn't plume until late. We'll have to see that from his perspective. But couldn't have come at a worse time. A 5-on-3 at 14-10. Big is out of money. They cannot afford to lose this. Somehow these 3 players must pull them back into this round. They at least have the read. All 3 players for Big are here. Make that 2.
What a round by ENCE. Gonna call up the Swami stack. And now Big find themselves even more in trouble. Alexi B finalizes round 25. It will read 15 to ENCE, 10 to Big. 5 match points, 5 elimination points.
Oh, it's been such a brawl, and ENCE 5 chances to move on. Oh, you hate to see that round. It was just so dominant from ENCE. Someone's gonna have to find the demo.
Yeah, I need to know how Tizian died there. If that was 100-0 and he got wrecked off like a smoke bugging or
There's
something.
no way. He couldn't have been blind for long enough to not realize he was burning or something along those lines. Either way, I mean, fair play. The boost was a nice shot.
Oh, look at the weaponry as well. Big playing for their tournament lives with an MP9 and pistols.
Round 22, Vince. Round 22 on train.
That'll be haunting their dreams.
It's gonna haunt my dreams.
This should have been done. Big should be moving to the next stage, but here we are. Maybe they can still battle back.
Look how cautious ENCE is being as well, knowing they have Big on the ropes. Just not wanting to get caught off guard by anything. Just over a minute left in the round, and Sergey's at the back of underpass. Alu is at the back of Party. Alexi is at the rock over towards Long, very far back. Ariel is basically in T-spawn. And X7 is as far back from the B-bomb site as you can. And shout out to the Observer, knowing exactly who I was going to go to next.
A telepathic link. Here we go. And it's going to be moving X7 in. Entry crack. Only loses 20 of his health, and Sergey goes in on Xantares. And somewhere, Natu has a huge smile on his face.
A huge grin and probably a drink as well, and he deserves it. This team, from nothing to something. They have had quite a ride last year, impressed so many people. They struggled in the early stage of this Legend stage. They struggled in the early stages of this series. And now they're looking good, 16-10. But that map, that ENCE that we saw in Overpass is the ENCE you need to see game in, game out if they want a chance of moving on to the top 8, moving on to the champion stage. What a performance. Alu stepped it up huge in this third map, but so did Alexi and Ariel.